We're a generation of influencers. We don't know how to build anything. At 35, my mates were buying banks. What did I buy? And they were buying banks that were older than them. Same thing with Peter Obi. Built a bank. Who in our generation even owns one? Under the age of 50. Who owns a bank that is under the age of 50?
Them Herbert, them
Herbert at 35, they own the bank.
Even the GTB guys too.
A significant bank. So my point is, we're a generation of influencers. We don't know how to build anything. People are trained to perform, not to build.
Yeah.
And you see it seeping into companies, right? Where people want to perform building a company, perform entrepreneurship. People don't understand value. People don't understand building. They don't have the wisdom to build. They don't know things take time. The truth of the matter is, until all of us sit down at the table and just tell ourselves that truth, that come on, we are just performing artists, all of us. So I woke up one day with this realization. I was like, I can't waste my time writing, doing Banger Boy, writing Banger tweets. While at 35, my mates were buying banks. What did I buy?
So I watched the session with Emeh on the Afropolitan podcast, and it was a very interesting one. He said a lot of powerful things, and I think you all have to watch it. It's very important you watch it. Where he said that at 35, people were buying banks in the 1980s and 1990s, but right now we cannot buy a bank at 35. While your fathers were buying banks, right now we cannot buy a bank. And I found it very interesting. I think we need to give it some balance. But first, we know who Emeh is. He's an amazing young man, and we all respect him. And I'm saying that he's going to be the greatest mind in business in Africa in a short time. That will be awarded to him very soon. All right, so he said that, and I found this interesting, and I want to tell you 4 reasons why you cannot buy a bank at 35 in our present time. Number 1, cost of entry. In the 1980s and 1990s and early 2000s also, an individual can buy a bank with about $3 million, and you're fine, and you need a capital equity of about 2 billion naira. But with the Soludo capitalization policy, everything changed. Now you have to buy a bank with 25 billion naira as capital. In the present time, you need about 500 billion naira for your international license, and then you need another 500 billion naira for capital equity. So in 1994, 1995, for example, you need $15 million, and right now $15 million will be about $30 million. But what you need to buy a bank presently is about $450 million. So compare your $30 million of that year to now of $450 million. We're talking about more than 1,400% increase. So can you see why you can't buy a bank? Back then, it was just one person or 3-4 friends come together and they can buy a bank. But right now, even with you and 100 of your friends, you can't buy a bank. The picture is different. So let's understand that. Number 2, low guarantee. In the 1990s, you can buy a bank with a promise of rapid operational turnaround. You can also buy a bank with a loan. But right now, it is not possible. All of those things do not mean anything to the central bank. You have to have enough capital. You have to have capital equity. You have to be able to buy the license. So in this point, it's just very clear. The next point, strict regulation. Right now, if you try to borrow money to buy a bank, it will be flagged by the Anti-Money Laundering Department of the Central Bank of Nigeria, and you'll be disqualified. Remember that the CBN sees your financial footprint, whatever you're trying to do. So if you're bidding or trying to, do a takeover of a bank and all of those things, and you're trying to borrow money to buy it, they're going to disqualify you because you have to have that raw equity. You can't loan money or borrow money from anywhere or just go and pull from different places to buy a bank. Once they track that or find out about that, you will be flagged down. You are not going to be able to get a bank. And lastly, indigenization. That's also very powerful because that was what these guys enjoyed in the 1980s and 1990s, because at this time, the CBN was prioritizing Nigerians owning their own banks. All right, so they wanted to move away from the colonial and foreign control after independence. Independence was in 1960, but all through those years, they were trying to move away from those control, and therefore, they were giving locals the support that they need. But today, the CBN is more excited by foreign investment and foreign currencies. It is a total opposite. So in fact, it has switched now. So before, the central bank were interested in supporting local businesses and individuals, Nigerian individuals who wanted to buy a bank. But right now, they need the backup of foreign currency. They need the backup of foreign investment. So it's different now. So I think you can clearly see why you can't buy a bank at 35. You cannot. The landscape has shifted. Everything has changed. I'm not saying you should not push to, get the best for yourself and, try to, hit your biggest targets. You should do that. But please understand that when you're comparing what happened in 1980 and 1990 to what is happening now, we're not going to be right in saying that, because right now the landscape is totally different and there's no way. So don't beat yourself down. All right, if you're 35 or 36 or 30 or 40 and you can't buy a bank, it's because you cannot buy a bank at 35 anymore.
I've argued repeatedly that our society is rigged against young people.
Right.
So they've got to be very careful in this environment. If you look at it, most things rules have been put in place, things have been, measures have been put in place to make it very difficult for young people to succeed. When I was young, it was not like that. It's almost as if some Nigerians, as they got older, kept on redefining, pulling the rug along with themselves. And the environment that enabled them to come in and succeed, they withdrew it. So that today's young people cannot repeat what they did.
Thank you.